How's it going, guys? What's up? We got Pinkfresh here. He is a top Min player, and he also just recently decided to go full-time in content creation, so congrats to you.
Thank you.
But yeah, let's start it off. Let's get the truth about Min. So you heard me.
Oh,
the truth about Min. So
we're getting deep early.
So how good is this character? Why do you think they're as strong as they are or aren't?
Every day, my opinion of Min changes, and it goes between top 10 and top 20. Some days I'm like, bro, sometimes you can just shield this character and you be chilling. And then I break somebody's shield and I'm like, never mind, you can't just shield this character. And I kill you at like 30 off of like some stupid confirm, and I'm like, okay, never mind. And then some days I'm like, her disadvantage is really bad. I can't land, and that's true. And some days I'm like, I get gimped all the time. I hate this. But I don't. I actually don't get gimped that often. Her recovery is not even that bad. I know she just got nerfed recently and her recovery got a little worse, but it didn't change like the characters that were gonna gimp her before. Like Rob was gonna gimp her regardless. Like Pikachu was gonna do it regardless. Sheik was gonna do it regardless. So I'm still recovering against like Lucina, and like if any character like has like a lingering hitbox like Wolf or Fox, if they want to go off stage and do like Nair, I can still recover against them. I was recovering against Ridley yesterday at the tournament I was at. Her recovery's still fine. The nerf didn't matter that much. Up smash, I did feel the up smash difference in bracket though. There's a few times where I landed like an up smash out of shield and I was like, oh damn, that would have killed before. The reason I personally think Min is really good is because it's extremely hard to land any meaningful hits on her. She controls this much of the stage, so you only have this much of the stage to work with on like your end. So you have to make your decisions from further out on what you're gonna do in neutral than what you would do against most characters. So a lot of people like preemptively plan their moves when they're like this far away, and it makes it easier to react as the Min player because you see them jump and you go, okay, well, I don't have to throw the arm. They already made that decision to jump. Or if you see them get here and they dash again, where you're like, okay, well, I can hit them out of their dash. Like I can snipe them out of their dash. And she just controls the neutral so well. And when she does hit you, she lands meaningful hits, like always. Like everything she does confirms into something for the most part. So she's normally doing like 20% to 50% per interaction. And because she's controlling so much stage and she's winning so many neutral interactions, the damage racks up really quickly. That's like the strongest part of her, is how hard it is to approach her and how hard it is to like get any meaningful hits, because her down tilt low profiles and her legs are actually invincible for part of it. So you can use it to like anti-air a lot of like landing hitboxes. That in combination with like roll, and then she has that crazy dash attack. Her dash attack is really, really good. And the hitbox for it is gigantic. It moves it really far. It's like super, super hard to like lock her down in a position. And her Nair's broken. I think it's her best move. Like all three of them combined, it completes the character, I would say, in the sense that it controls that arc where most characters would think that they could approach from, they just can't. So that's like her strongest aspect. And then her edge guarding and ledge trapping. I think she's the best ledge trapper in the game.
I guess just to touch a bit more on the ledge trapping, doesn't she have a this setup where she literally can cover everything at once?
Yeah, for the most part, like against most characters, she can cover pretty much anything by literally just charging ram. Like that's it. Like if you've ever watched Proto, and to an extent, I do it sometimes. He'll go to the ledge, he'll just start charging ram. When you charge a smash attack, there are charge release frames, and then there are just like the normal like smash attack. So some smash attacks are like frame like 13 smash attack. Well, if you start charging it, when you release it, sometimes it'll be like frame 6. It's like a thing. So Min, you just charge it and you just react to whatever they do. If they go high, then you angle it up. If they hold on to the ledge, you angle it down. If they do neutral get up, it's easier to just go for the neutral get up, because if they roll, you just cover it with the second arm. That's like one way to do it. There's other ways where if you have Megawatt out and you have Dragon and their ledge hang is really bad, you can just charge Megawatt and let it go, and it'll cover jump, neutral get up, and their ledge hang, so it forces them to roll, and then you just cover the roll with Dragon.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I mean, pretty much, just it sounds like Min Min is just, she just has an incredible on-stage presence, and she could just control the neutral like so well. And even if she loses, it's not that big of a deal for the most part.
Yeah, there's like certain characters that can make it pretty bad for her, like, but I think those certain characters make it pretty bad for most characters in the game, so it's hard to say if it's like a her thing or if it's like a that character thing, like Pikachu or Rob or something like that. They do it to like every character in the game.
Okay, so you talked about Proto Banham, and
Yes.
he is an amazing Min Min player. I wanted to ask, what do you think about his performance at Kagero before? And what I mean by that is, do you feel like he was getting away with a lot of Min Min gimmicks, or do you feel like the Japanese players that he played against knew what they were doing pretty well, but he just solidly outplayed them, or maybe a combination of the both?
I think more so than anything, he definitely outplayed them. So there are a lot of Min Min gimmicks, like, and she is like a newer character, and if you didn't play during the Wi-Fi era, as we call it, there's a lot that you won't know about the character. And like Steve, for example, you look at Steve and you're like, what the heck's going on? I didn't play against this. So you go to an offline tournament and they're just wailing at you, and you're like, bro, what? I'm getting jabbed across the stage, huh? That's not what, who put this in the game? Like, so with Min Min, it's the same thing. Like, she's like hitting you with like nair and a tilt and a drag. You're like, wait, I just took 50, and you're getting hit by like dragon late back throw forward smash, and you die, and you're like, the heck, like, what, bro, get this out of here. But Proto is the best Min Min in the world at using Ram Ram, like, bar none, by far. He controls the game with Ram Ram better than any other Min Min I've ever watched. Like, I study him very often. I'm like, how's he doing this? Like, he does this one thing, like, this very specific off stage where he'll like throw Ram Ram and they'll jump and he'll like up B right afterwards, and I'm like, why did I never think of that? Like, that is so good. I did see like a few things where I was like, how did you get away with that? But when I go to events, I'm like, how did I get away with that? You know, it just happens. It happens. So I think he definitely outplayed his opponent, and I like that he has Lucina as a secondary. Like, I think against some matchups you may need a secondary, and on some stages against certain characters, it's really nice to have Lucina as a backup character. Really solid character that can do well on pretty much any stage. Doesn't really struggle too much in most matchups. So it was enjoyable to watch for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it, and I was really impressed by his play. Okay, so basically it sounds like he did get away with some gimmicks, but it's like as much as anyone normally would. So yeah.
Mr. R posted that clip on YouTube or on Twitter of him landing like that Ram and the forward smash on his Rob, and him dying at like 40. Sorry, that's funny. It's so stupid. Sorry, it's if you ever watch me play, I'm like shaking my head as it's happening. I'm like, bro, this is so dumb. And I was like, well, if a Rob that I played against very often, they would know to just go high no matter what. They would not do the air dodge down and risk that. They would just go high, because Nair clanks with up B on the way down. So it's actually a losing situation for Min Min to try to juggle Rob in that way. But the moment I saw him do the air dodge, I was like, dang, I wish the Robs I played against did those air dodges. But that's like one of those examples of something that he'd probably like Zachary would probably know in the future to just go as high as he can. Because Min Min can't do much against Rob doing that.
I guess touching on Min Min a little bit more, you say you watch Proto Banham, so are there more that you watch and that you feel like other people should be thinking about when they think about Min Min?
When I watched Smash World Tour, Omuwatsu, they qualified in Japan. I thought at the time, and I have to see them perform more offline, I thought that they looked like the best Min Min in the world. Like, I thought that they looked better than Proto. I haven't seen them offline. I don't know how that's going, but I was really impressed with them. Obviously Dabuz, it's Dabuz. He's gonna be good at whatever character he picks up. Min Min fits Dabuz's like history of characters, you know, really defensive. I'm not letting you get in. You're gonna have to break my defensive wall. I do watch a lot of Dabuz. He's really good at like controlling the space in front of him, and I try to like pick up on things from that. When Isam played Min Min, I actually did learn a lot. I still talk to Isam about Min Min because he just has like random combos that he knows. He calls himself the combo Min Min. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I like take some confirms from him.
Mhm.
We share ideas on situations and stuff. There is a min named Justice. I watch Justice a lot. We also talk a lot. They're very solid. They just, I don't know if they won a local, but they did beat Pandarian and JDV and JoJo. Like they're beating like really good players. On Wi-Fi, I used to watch Peckham. I don't know how Peckham's gonna do like offline if he's going to events and stuff. I think those are the biggest ones that I like study and try to learn from. There are other good minions, like there are good minions all around. It's just weird that I guess maybe because of COVID in some areas, the restrictions are a little different. That we're not really seeing them offline.
I am excited, but also afraid to see all these minions pop up. Not gonna lie. Okay, so I need to talk about your character history. You main Bayonetta in Smash 4, incredibly hated character. You main Min Min in Ultimate, incredibly hated character. Do you just not want people to like you?
See, you only took part of my history. We are old, right? We up there in numbers. So here's the thing. In Brawl, which is the first game that I started with in 2008, that was 13 years ago. Hello? That's probably older than some of y'all. Like, anyway, it started with Lucas, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be the best Lucas in the world. I'm gonna put all my time in this character. I'm gonna be so successful. And I put like all this effort. I learned so much about Lucas. As I was playing, I just felt limited. Like I would be in situations and I would be like, man, I don't really have an option for this. Or man, if I were like a different character, I would be able to do something better. Dang, this sucks. After playing Lucas in Brawl, and I had some success, like I won some locals, but whenever I traveled, I wouldn't do well. And I was like, this is so frustrating. I would just play like a Snake or a Meta Knight or an Ice Climber or a DDD, and I'd be like, why am I doing this to myself? I went and I started playing PM, and I never owned PM. Like at any point during me playing PM, I just went to a Xanadu and somebody was like, hey, you should play this. And I picked Lucas again because that's the only character I had known at the time, and turned out to be pretty busted. And actually people hated Lucas in that game too. I was like, bro, I'm just playing the character I played in Brawl. After PM, I went to Smash 4. Mind you, Lucas was like a top 5 character in PM. I went to Smash 4. I was playing Pit and Peach at the beginning because Lucas wasn't in the game yet. And I was like, dude, I remember when I played good characters. This is kind of weird. Like, I don't like this feeling. So then Lucas came out as DLC and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try him out. He's looking like he got some stuff. That character was like mid-tier, high tier best, aka sucks. And I was like, no, not again. This is not fun. So I took a break, like a year break during Smash 4. Like I didn't play it at all. And I thought to myself, all right, I'm gonna come back and I'm going to play a good character. Because when you're playing a low tier, you see the game through the lens of the low tier character. You don't see the game as a whole. You just see it as, well, I'm playing this character and they have this many options, instead of I'm playing a good character and they have infinite options that can deal with most situations. And you don't get that like deeper understanding of the game when you're playing a lower tier character normally. There's some people that can push their characters much further, but I was like, okay, so I'm gonna play either Zero Suit or Rosalina when I come back from the break. As I was coming back, they announced DLC and I was like, yo, Bayonetta, that's crazy. I love Bayonetta. Like, what? This is sick. So I was playing Bayonetta and Corrin a little bit. And then I was like, wait, Bayonetta seems pretty good. And I like Bayonetta. I'm just gonna try it out with Bayonetta. Little did I know Bayonetta was a little bit more than a little good. So I just stuck with her and I was seeing some success. As I started seeing some success, I also felt like I was learning the game a lot more. I was experiencing new situations and new playstyles that I wouldn't have been able to experience if I stuck with Lucas. And I know a lot of people like weren't the biggest fan of me switching off of Lucas, and they weren't the biggest fan of me switching off of Lucas in Ultimate either. But it sucks when like you put a lot of time and effort into something over like a large period of your life and you don't get much reward out of it, you know? And I just felt like personally for me, I was tired of feeling like the character is what was holding me back, because it's hard to grow as a player when you always have doubts in your head about if it's the character or if it's you. And I was just really struggling with that. So I felt like if I picked a good character, the only thing that I could blame myself for losing would be me, because everybody else can do it. So if I'm seeing people on Zero Suit being successful in Smash 4, if I'm seeing people in Rosalina or Bayonetta or whatever, and even in this game in Ultimate, if I'm seeing people be successful on these better characters, then obviously it's not the characters, it's me. If I'm not being successful. So I just feel like personally it helped me grow as a player to play better characters. That's all. I didn't know that, like, and this is what's unfortunate, I didn't know that these characters were going to end up being hated. I was like, oh, Bayonetta's fun, I'm gonna try it, like, and then oh snap, she's hated. And then Min Min, I was literally playing random doubles on Wi-Fi with friends and I was having fun, and I heard her theme when she won and I thought it was so funny. So I was like, dude, I want to hear this theme more often. So I started playing her. That's it. Like, I don't have some like mastermind scheme in my head like, dude, I'm gonna make everyone miserable when I pick this character. No, I'm just trying to have some fun.
It's actually kind of hilarious to hear you say that, because I'm sure a lot of people, when they like saw you transition from Bayonetta to Min Min, like, he just likes playing these characters. He's just a horrible person. But like, hearing your reasoning, it's hilarious. Like, I just like her victory theme. And then with Bayonetta, you love the game. Like, you're just a fan of the game, and she so happened to be good.
1,300 days of no Bayonetta 3 news. It's not real. Like, that's not real.
At this point, the game's not coming out.
I've pretty much given up.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, but I guess it's going more on what you said. I actually really like what you said about you don't want to limit yourself with the worst character or feel like it's the character holding you back. You want to feel like, yeah, you're the reason why you're losing and not your character, which I respect. I feel like there's a lot of people who are competitors and they want the confirmation that their character's holding them back. In actuality, I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel like there's some players who they literally will specifically play low tier characters because they want to blame the character on their loss.
Yeah, I don't know if that's why they're doing it. I'm not like those people, but I do know that there's some people that like, they have that. And I had that goal when I was younger, right? Like, when I was younger, I wanted to be the best Lucas, and I was having fun, and I was like, dude, I can push this character really far. But as time went on, I was like, is it me or is it the character? And it's easy to blame the character. Like, nobody wants to blame themselves for losing. Mm-hmm. You don't want to feel like you're inadequate or you're not good enough. You want to have a reason for why you lost. And it's really, really easy to go, oh, well, I play Lucas, so of course I'm going to lose, or like, of course I'm going to have a harder time. I wanted to grow as a player and as a person to be able to blame myself and like not my character.
I like that. I respect that. That is, yes, character development. Okay, so you are a full-time content creator now, which I said congrats to you earlier. I know it can be scary. Yeah, me also being like, full-time into content creation. I guess just to start off, why did you make that move? I know you made a video on it, but for people who didn't see it.
Okay, so for a very long time, I would stream on and off. I actually started streaming in Smash 4. I was having a lot of fun streaming, and one thing that I noticed when I was streaming Smash 4 is a lot of people would come in and they would ask me questions about like the game or how to improve, and they asked me that in tournament, but tournaments only happen but so often. And normally in like when I'm in bracket mode, I'm really focused, and I'm down to talk a little bit, but I'd rather just focus on the tournament. Mm-hmm. So I don't speak too much at events. I just feel like it takes a lot of energy that I could be conserving for the bracket. But as I was streaming and people started asking me questions, I enjoyed answering the questions and giving some perspective, or my perspective, on how I view the game, because everybody views the game differently, and I don't think there's like one correct way to view the game, because it's so free form, and that's why you see so many different play styles at the highest level. But I enjoyed like sharing my perspective and like helping people out, and I was like, dude, I love this, like, it's really fun. But I also worked a job. Some things that people may not know about me is I'm married. I've been in a relationship for 7 years, and I've been married for 2 years. This is gonna be pretty personal, but my wife was going to college and she needed help like paying for things. So I had to kind of like put Smash on the back burner, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want to go to events because what if I lose? Like, then I just wasted money and time that I could have been working. And why would I spend money traveling when I could put money towards her tuition? I worked a job, and I would go to events here and there when I could, but I felt like it was more important to me personally to put my relationship above Smash. At the end of the day, like I can get a job doing pretty much anything. I could make a living doing a lot of things, but like I want to be with that person, so I decided to put her above everything else. So I couldn't stream really consistently. That was the thing. I worked in a restaurant, and if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you know your schedule can be all over the place. So sometimes I would work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes I would work Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And I couldn't come up with a consistent stream schedule because throughout those days, I would also need to find time to spend with my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, now wife. So I was having a really hard time getting the consistency of streaming. When the pandemic hit, I was like kind of just sitting at home because restaurants and stuff were only doing like takeout or whatever, and I wasn't working that much, so I was streaming a lot more, and I was like, dude, I miss this. Like I miss being able to interact with people and help them out and just have a fun time, like going through my day doing something that I love. At some point someone was like, well, hey, have you ever tried like YouTube? And I was like, no. I'm stupid. Why did I never try YouTube? It's like a lot less, like you still need like some form of schedule, but it's a lot less like consistency based than like say Twitch is, right? Like Twitch, you have to have that like rigid stream schedule because people will just decide they don't sub it or they spend their money somewhere else. With YouTube, like your videos are always there. If someone wants to like go back and visit a video, then they can. They don't have to wait for your schedule the next time you stream. Editing wise and like recording wise, you can just do it bit by bit. Like I could spend 30 minutes one day like gathering footage for a video. If I'm like out somewhere and I have a little bit of free time, I could spend like 15 minutes like writing a script on my phone. Like those are just things you can do that you can't do when you're streaming because you have to be really active when you're streaming. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try YouTube. And my videos weren't doing like super hot, and that's fine, but they had some traction. People were watching them, and I was like, okay, well, I'd prefer to do this than try to stream. I already know with my schedule, like that streaming's just not gonna work. But my wife got her master's degree last year. I had really been thinking about it, like, okay, well, she's starting to make a little bit of money. so maybe after we like get in like a good financial place, like have a pretty decent savings, then maybe I'll talk to her and like see how she feels about it, because she's always been very supportive of this being like what I do. Recently I was kind of just sitting there and I was like, all right, we're in a really good spot. I released that refresh rate video that I've been working on for a few days, and it kind of popped off. Offline just came back, and I've been practicing all throughout quarantine. This is gonna be a little surprising to most people, but I don't really play that often. Like I didn't play that often before. I just went to tournaments and like see what I could do on my Switch. And these may not sound like high numbers to most people, but 35 hours on Violet and like 30 hours on Zero Suit over like the span of this game being out, and I have like 300 on Min. Like I've been playing significantly more, so that's probably why. I mean, she's obviously good, but that's also why I've been seeing more success. But anyway, I've been practicing a lot, so I was like, okay, maybe I can do well at tournaments. Drop that video. For some reason it went ballistic. I was like, oh, okay, oh, that's weird. Maybe I do have it in me. And then I talked to her and I was like, I think like this is a good time because I can still kind of like, you make enough money, and then I could like still supplement with going to tournaments. Hopefully I can get on Metafy and do some coaching and just stuff like that. And if I really need to get some quick money, I'll like do like DoorDash or Uber or something. Like I'm not below like working for like doing like lower level jobs as people see them for money or whatever. So she was okay with it, and I was like, all right, well, I'll try and take the leap, and we'll see how it goes.
I will say your refresh rate video was really, really well made. Like that was really good. That was so good.
I thought it was like okay. Like as I was making it, I even said, like, I was talking to Charles, and I was like, I don't care how this video does. I'm just really glad that I finished it. And then I released it, and I was like, what's going on? Because most of my videos only get like a few hundred views, like 300, 400. And then I was like, okay, I'm at 3,000. Oh, all right. Finished the tournament 10,000. What's going on? So it was just really surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it starts. So I'm happy for you. Do you want to tell the people what your Twitch and YouTube is?
YouTube.com/Pinkfresh with 3 H's, and that's also my Twitter and my Twitch as well.
If you're not yet like following / subscribe to him, do that. Made that refresh rate video. That's great. And I know there's going to be more really good videos to come, so I'm also looking forward to it.
That's why y'all support him.
I also want to say, like, what you were saying about, you know, your wife and stuff, that's amazing that you would be willing to, you know, put your dreams and stuff to the back burner to support her. And then, you know, now that she's in a spot where she can do the same, she's doing it. That's amazing. Yeah. So I'm really happy to hear that. And what's her name?
Stacy.
Shout outs to Stacy, you're awesome. Thank you for supporting my homie. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Tweak Talks, because when I think of Tweak Talks, I think of Charles and I think of you. You guys are like the staple of that podcast, in my opinion. Like you three guys. Yes, Tweak is like, you know, he is like the name on it, but I think you two also like help make the show like as good as it is. Yeah, so I guess just run through how that all started. Like how did you become like one of the main cast members of Tweak Talks?
This story's so stupid. Okay, so one day we're all sitting there. Gavin is like, "Yo, you want to do a podcast where we just like talk about Smash and like mess around?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, I think I'm gonna just do it with Charles." And I was like, all right, no planning. Like 2 days later, we just like loaded it up and we're like, yo, what are we about to talk about? And we're like, I don't know. And then we just started talking. And then from there forward, that's how Tweak Talk began. He just was like sitting there one day and he's like, I think I'm going to do a podcast. there's like no grand idea or anything. He was just like, dude, I want to talk about Smash. You want to do a podcast? And I was like, sure.
I mean, as funny as that story is, like, it's been going great. Like, you guys are like pretty much dropping weekly content. It's like really, really good to hear. You know, you guys all have some super insightful opinions and also different. That's like, I think that's the good thing about it. You guys aren't just like all yes men, like, oh yeah, what Tweak said, yeah, he's right. You guys yeah, you guys have your own opinions. You know, you guys like butt heads every once in a while. It's actually like really good, insightful conversation.
As this like started going on a little bit more, we also did it because we felt like it was important for people to understand like how to disagree with each other. We don't always have to like argue and like go at each other's throats and like personally like attack someone because they disagree with us. We're just like, why do you feel this way? And then they explain and we're like, okay, well, that's how you see it and that's fine. Then this is how I see it and that's fine. We don't feel like you have to like blow somebody up because they think Sonic is number 8 and you think Sonic's number 6. Like, it's the same thing essentially. They're both really good. It's just you value some things a little bit more than someone else values something, and that's not like a bad thing. Everybody has their different sets of values. Like, I'm not gonna attack someone because they value something differently than me. Also, we are changing, for anyone that's watching, Tweak Talks to be on Wednesdays with offline coming back, and like Tweak's gonna have to travel, Haz is gonna have to travel, Charles is gonna have to travel. I'm gonna be sitting at my house. The weekends are gonna be pretty rough to like keep the consistency wise, but Wednesdays we decided was a good day.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense. You know, Wednesday's in the middle of the week. There's like never going to be any huge tournaments on Wednesday. Watch there be a huge tournament next year. They're like, you know what? Screw you, Larry. We're gonna make a major on Wednesday just to spite you. Just another question about Tweak Talks. What has been your favorite episode to do so far?
Oh, my favorite episode. We've had some good ones. That one with Aaron, where he was just like asking like random questions. We were talking about like that time that Tweak went to the store and bought like a box of Pokemon cards and like how much he spends on like DoorDash and stuff like that. Like, that was like one of the funnest episodes because it was so out of the norm of what we normally do, and it was just really interesting. I like the energy that Aaron brought to the podcast. That might be my favorite. I really enjoyed the tier list one though as well. That was a good episode too because we all had, I was getting so tight because we all pretty much had like a very similar tier list, just like broken down differently, and people were like, this tier list sucks, and I was like, what? The only difference is like Link is a little bit higher than somebody. Like, I was just like, dude, this is all the same. I don't know. So that was a good episode. It was really funny. I think those were probably my two. I think like really early we did an episode about like mentality and stuff like that, and that's like what I love talking about. It's like one of my passions. That was also like a really enjoyable one, but I think those are probably my three. It's actually weird thinking about it now. There's been so many episodes that I'm like struggling to recall all the ones that we've done. That's weird. I didn't realize how long that we'd been doing this. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, it's been months now.
Whoa. We did not think it was gonna pop off like this, like at all. We did not think it was gonna go this low.
Yeah.
So there's no like structure or anything to it. We just like load up and we're like, yo, what's up, guys?
I think that's why it's so good though, because it's just so flexible. Like, you guys aren't rigid about the topics you want to talk about. You guys are down to talk about like a lot, which is great, you know?
We just like Smash Brothers.
Exactly, yeah. And like, you guys are just showing like your love for the game and just talking about it. So
Bro, Larry, you're so dope.
Okay, so you're competing in Smash, you're also doing content creation. What is your main focus now? And do you think that will change in the future?
Okay, so for as long as I've been playing, I've been a competitor first. It's just in my nature. And because I've been doing it so long, it's like even more of a part of me at this point. So I feel like I'm always going to be focused on competing for the foreseeable future. But I'm old, man. I can't be competing forever. And you know, I'm married and gonna have kids soon, and like I won't be able to like keep up with people that have infinite free time that could just practice their lives away. So I don't know when, but I'm sure my focus will switch more to content creation. But for now, it's definitely competing. Maybe in like a year or two, it'll be more content creation. Like, I'm still going to create content mostly daily. I'm going to try my best to be daily, but some of the content might just be me practicing. And I'm sorry if you don't enjoy that, but I like competing and I do want to be, you know, the best that I can be. I think this is really important for people when they want to be a competitor. I feel like you have to have a goal when you start competing, because otherwise you're just going to be playing to play and you won't really know like what to work on moving forward. This is me personally. The way I work is I have an end goal and then I fill in the steps in between to get to that end goal. Like, let's say I want to be the best midman, where there's things that I need to work on to be the best midman. My confirms have to be really good, my spacing has to be really good, my flash trapping has to be really good, I have to understand how to get out of disadvantage, I need to know how to recover. And those are like just really basic things, and then I like figure out like how I can improve like some of those, and I break it down even further to where I can reach this final end goal of being the best midman. It'll just show through my play. I currently have a goal, which is to be the best midman. The problem is there's a lot of good ones, so we'll see how that ends up.
Talking a bit more about your content creation. So I mean, I mentioned the refresh rate video. That one did like really well. How many of those types of videos do you plan on making? Do you think that will be the primary focus on your channel? Or you also say you're going to do some when you practice. Do you think that will be the primary focus, or maybe like a good in-between?
Probably a good in-between, because like stuff like that takes a lot of time.
I know.
And
I know.
Yeah, as you know, yeah, it takes a lot of time. In between like me making like a video like that, it's a lot easier to like stream practice, take like a couple games, put it in a video, boom, that's a video. Like, and then I can go back to working on the video that I was working on. I do think like educational content is gonna be like the main focus of my channel. There are gonna be some guides, but they're not gonna be like surface level guides, if that makes sense. Like, I was saying this yesterday, a lot of learning Smash starts with like people telling you that you need to learn how to space, right? You need to learn your combos. You need to learn how to ledge trap. And these are like all really like basic macro level things, right? You need to learn how to play neutral. But the micro of Smash is the part that I feel like people are missing. You could take Smash in like steps if you want. You win neutral, they're in disadvantage, you push your advantage. Hopefully you don't overextend and get reversaled. If it doesn't go well, you're back in neutral and then you just start it over, right? But they don't teach you like how to manage your risk reward ratio, how to like the refresh rate video, for example. People don't normally teach you like, oh, the more you see a situation, the better you're going to be at reacting to it. They don't teach you like how conditioning works. They don't teach you how you can change your conditioning through like the mental stack that you put on your opponent, where if you do a bunch of different options in the same scenario, that your opponent has to think about all those different things. So that's why you see people do like, the biggest one I can always use is Leo, because people have seen Leo on the grand stage. They've seen Leo for years. Every single player you ask, top player, I'll even ask you, Larry, what is Leo's favorite option when he is in the corner?
I feel like he likes to roll a lot. Let's roll.
Boom. Thank you. Everybody knows he rolls. Everyone knows. But because he does so many different things, it's hard to know when he's gonna roll. And that's part of what mental stack is. Like, people are looking for the role, but he also knows people are looking for the role, so he can base his play around him knowing that people are looking for the role. And like, those are things that aren't really taught. Really, as a spectator, you see people say, well, we knew he was gonna roll, and it's like, yeah, we knew he was gonna roll, but we also knew that he likes to jump, and we also knew that he likes to down tilt, and we also knew that he likes to dash grab, and like, there's a lot of different things that we know. So choosing that one thing to just harp on can actually end up being bad for you, because if you just stand there doing literally nothing, waiting for the roll, and then he kicks you in your face with dash attack, and you're like, I thought he was gonna roll. Those are the types of things that I like to talk about, because they're a little more deep than like just knowing the options that people like to do.
I think that is definitely an aspect that people don't talk that much about, or at least they don't talk about a lot in video form. And you know, it's great to hear that you're going to be doing more stuff like that. Also, if you don't make a video called the risk reward ratio, I'm gonna be mad at you. That's such a good title.
No, I will.
All right. That's such a good title.
I will.
All right.
Today I'm making a Wi-Fi warrior video.
Oh, okay. Wait. If you don't mind me asking, can you go into a bit more detail, like about what that entails?
Basically, it's just about how there's like this really weird negative stigma around people being Wi-Fi warriors, and people are like, dude, you're a Wi-Fi warrior, you wouldn't do well offline, you're just abusing Wi-Fi, this is a Wi-Fi playstyle, you play a Wi-Fi character. But if you've paid attention to recent results of people that have been playing Wi-Fi for the past year, Sonic's just won 3 locals in a row in Vegas, and it's not like there weren't bad people there. Justice, the min that I was talking about, is doing really well. Slushy, a Donkey Kong from his tag yesterday was literally not Wi-Fi DK, just got second as Xanadu. Jake got 9th at Infinity Con. Like, there's so many people that are Wi-Fi warriors, like Yanni's doing well offline. Wi-Fi warriors that are successful. Spargo just won MS. Sorry. So,
okay. Look,
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Look at the top 3 of MSM. They all played Wi-Fi a good amount.
Yeah. Something I'll say too is that I would not consider Spargo or Sonic's Wi-Fi warriors, because they were also
good beforehand.
Yeah. They played a lot offline. So I don't know about the other players you mentioned, but I would not consider them Wi-Fi warriors in my personal opinion.
There's like a section about like people who would consider Wi-Fi warriors, but then understand that the video is less about like actual Wi-Fi warriors, and it's more about how Wi-Fi actually translate to help you succeed offline. Because then I go into talk about past Smash games, and if most of the top players from past Smash games started on Wi-Fi. That's just normally how it goes. So it's weird that, oh yeah, DD, they also did really well at the Georgia Invitational, and it's like, bro, I don't know. Like, that's another one of those things that I was talking about earlier, though, is a lot of times like people want to find reasons to blame for them losing. So it's easy to call someone a Wi-Fi warrior and tell them that they won't do well offline until they go and do well offline. And then you're like, oh snap, well, maybe I was wrong. But it's hard to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah, it goes back to the character, low tier character. Yep. Yeah. I think that's a good note to end on. Definitely like the insight you brought.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, dude, I love that you do these interviews. I always be watching. I'm like, these joints are so sick. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Once again, guys, make sure to follow him on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Pinkfresh with 3 H's. Really easy to find. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you again for coming on, and I'll see you guys next time.
See y'all in chat or in YouTube comments.